My name is John LaForge. I'm on the staff of NukeWatch, which is a nuclear weapons and power watchdog organization, a nonprofit based in northwest Wisconsin. Been working for NukeWatch as a full-time staffer since 1996, as a volunteer since 1987. So over 20 years of research and writing about the downside of nuclear power, nuclear weapons, radioactive waste, and the dilemma of what to do with all these things. And I'm speaking out to encourage Google to end their ties to nuclear power generation, what we like to call nuclear waste generation. Just last year, in 2009, according to the American Wind Power Association, the United States added 10,000 megawatts of wind power to the grid. In 1 year, 10,000 megawatts, that's 1.5 nuclear reactors, the size of the reactor being promoted by now President Obama in his December speech in Georgia. The nuclear power plants that the President is promoting take at the very least, 12 years to build. In 12 years, the U.S. can add 120,000 megawatts of wind power just based on last year's record alone. Of course, wind power is growing by leaps and bounds, and it is putting an end to this discussion of nuclear power as a future energy source. And Google is disappointing a lot of people in the environmental movement by having these rather deep ties to nuclear power generation around the world, which leaves us with generations of nuclear waste problems to deal with. In fact, electricity is just the fleeting byproduct of nuclear power. Its long-lasting dilemma and burden is nuclear waste, radioactive waste that's dangerous for 1 million years, and the disposal of which has not been figured out. In 60 years of scientific endeavor, the finest minds in this country and around the world have not figured out a way to isolate radioactive waste from the water table for as long as it needs to be isolated. Instead, we're stuck with the dilemma of every 20 years repackaging this material, watching the packages to see when they leak, and then again repackaging until the end of time. This is not a burden we want to leave for our children or for future generations when there are cheaper, safer, more reliable alternatives, in particular wind, which is already outpacing nuclear power generation in terms of added generating capacity every year. So take a lesson, Google. Get yourself out of nuclear power, which produces nothing but birth defects and cancer in the long run, and tie yourself to the future of electric generation with wind, solar, and geothermal. Even tidal generation, tidal power is more reliable than nuclear power. Now, the other point I'd like to make about nuclear power that should be rather a warning to the Google executives who are interested in it is that it can't stand on its own in the marketplace. The only way new nuclear reactors are going to be built in this country is if they get a taxpayer giveaway of the kind that the President spoke of in December. Billions of dollars in loan guarantees, so-called, what the Republicans like to call taxpayer giveaways when we're talking about health care, are the only thing that will guarantee investors signing up with nuclear power construction. Wall Street won't do it without those guarantees, and that should be a warning sign to Google that neither should you be interested in this dead-ended, unworkable, failed system of nuclear power generation. Thanks.